What's going on, everybody? I really hope I'm live. I don't know. I think so. Anyway, how's it going? Happy Friday. I hope you guys had an amazing win this week. If you haven't posted your win yet, you should totally post it. We like to post our wins at least once a week. At the end of the week, focus on your wins and then also focus on your goals for next week so that you can crush them. I am hanging out today with my friend Kurt from Seller Rocket. And you know, how many of you have been scrolling through the Amazon land and you are looking for your product for your main keyword, and right in the middle of the page is this giant like article looking thing with several products that aren't yours that Amazon is recommending. And they're like, best under $10, best over $25, best premium. And you're like, wait, what? How? That brand sucks. How did they get there when what? And it's taking up half the page. So, Kurt's here to make me feel better today about my anger about this sometimes. And we're going to talk to you guys about how does that happen? How do these products get into Amazon editorials? And a little bit more about, everything in general, like how editorial recommendations and mentions, not only on Amazon, but off of Amazon, can make all the difference for your brand. So we're going to talk about that today. We're just going to have a quick Q&A. We're going to do a little seller roundtable extra. And Kurt, thank you for being here. So I'm going to try and say his name and not mess it up. Kurt Hummerkhauser. And he tells me it's German, right? And I'm like, yes, my maiden name is also German, and it's really fun to spell and pronounce. So anyway, Kurt, why don't you tell everybody a little bit more about you and your background?
Well, my name is Kurt Hummerkhauser. I'm the account executive here at Seller Rocket. I have transitioned from a previous role. I was in healthcare software, and now I'm working in e-commerce, and I'm really excited to be here. This is the first podcast I've ever done, so thanks for having me.
Really?
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Man, I feel honored. So hopefully I'm not too hard on you today, and and I don't.
Give your best shot.
Yes, I like the attitude. This is awesome. Well, Ryan Kramer, that guy from Ping Pong Payments, he's just like he's the connector of all the people. And when he told me, he connected me with another guy on your Dan, I think, from your team. And Dan and I sat down and we talked about a Seller Rocket. And when we were getting into it, I was like, yeah, dude, there's a ton of PR firms. Like, I got it. Like, I got a ton of them in my trusted resources. I love, PR Reach is really good. Like, I love all the PR firms that are out there. So I was like, okay, what is different than about Seller Rocket? And he explained, he kind of left the Amazon editorial things for the end of our conversation. And I was like, why didn't you lead with that? Like, that's huge. Of course, we can't guarantee that we can get into Amazon editorials, but you guys have some insiders that can definitely help out with that. You have a direct link to Amazon editors that can promote products in those pages. So real quick, before we get into it, I am going to share my screen and we're going to show you guys. I was trying to find one today, and Kurt told me, he was like, just put in best anything and Amazon, it'll be there, right? So here we've got video ads. For those of you not doing video ads yet, come on, you're missing out. But then look, this is what an editorial recommendation looks like. Right? It's huge. It has a ton. You guys can see all my tools. I got Helium 10. I got Zonguru over here. I got AMZ Scout over here. I'm just, I like it. I like the tools, but now I'm showing you guys a tool to potentially be featured here. So if you search anywhere on Amazon and on most product pages or on most main keyword pages, you're going to see these editorial recommendations. And I mean, what does this look like to the customers, right? The customer is like, oh, wow, the editors pick the best robot vacuum, the best upright vacuum. And then it just keeps going. the best basic cleaner, like this is Amazon recommending it. And so to most customers, they don't know that Amazon is made up of mostly third-party sellers. They are like, oh, Amazon's selling all this stuff, and this is what Amazon recommends, so we trust it, right? And so if you can get your product in front of the customer in this way, it's like having that bestseller badge. Right? We got this bestseller badge, but look how tiny that is compared to this whole write-up that is here. So tell us a little bit more, Kurt, about this editorial recommendations on Amazon and how that works.
Yeah. So the editorial recommendations, I need to back up a little bit and start with how we got into this.
Let's start there.
Our team was on the publisher side of this originally before we formed this company. And so they saw the inefficiencies between working with the brands and the publishers. And, if you're a publisher, I'm sure people are sending products every day. I don't even know what their Amazon or their Amazon delivery is like every day, probably 1 million boxes. But so they have to sort through all those products, and then they have to interact with those brands. And the brands always have requests like, hey, don't put me next to these competitors, say this and not this, make sure you highlight this feature. And then on the publisher side, they're not e-commerce experts, so they don't know what products are going to sell very well, or they this is all new to them. So we solve for the inefficiencies between the publishers and the brands, and the brands or the publishers and e-commerce. We help them to understand, hey, this is a good product. This product sells very well. This is why it sells very well. This is the way you should orient your editorial online so that it works. The SEO works with their keywords as well. So just add some more fuel to that fire.
Well, and I think, anytime you read a top 10 best list from a blog post or from one of these major well-ranking websites like Good Housekeeping or something like that, a major domain that's very trusted in the eyes of consumers, you do sometimes get a false idea of what that product's delivery is. And I think that is kind of where that comes in is, as a brand owner, I'm providing this information to the publisher, but I'm not writing it myself. I'm providing it to them, and they're they're looking at the pictures. Maybe they're not in-depthly involved with every category in commerce, right? Like they don't know a lot about vacuums. They're probably a lot like me as a listing copywriter, where I'm like, oh, this is a new one. I'm going to have to do some research and try to figure out what I should say about this. And, maybe I write it from an angle that isn't at all what that brand owner wanted, so it's, I recently did a deal with a kind of a major PR and e-commerce vendor. And they published editorials about my products all across the internet on like Mashable and Boing Boing and some major sites. And it was really exciting, but they were also offering a coupon on my products. And on various pages, they were offering a coupon where you could save a significant amount over my price on Amazon. And still people went to Amazon. I had my biggest sales day on Amazon that day. I sold a lot through them as well, but I had my biggest sales day on Amazon that day. And so what happens and you guys do Amazon editorial recommendations, but you also help get the word for those products out to tons of publishers across the internet, but not just any publishers, trusted publishers, so that these products can make those top 10 best HD webcams, top 10 best work from home accessories, top, these best birthday gifts for your 10-year-old, whatever it is, right? But you're helping brands get their products out there. But not only that, you're bridging the gap between publishers and brands, because, you know, we need to make sure that that's done really, really well. It was funny because when I actually went out and read some of these articles that were published about my product, I was like, oh, when I got into it, like the titles and everything looked good, the graphics looked good. Then when I got into the weeds, I was like, oh, my product doesn't do that at all. Oh, I hope nobody might get some returns from that. Ouch, right? So, but in general, it creates this trust for your brand. And not only that, you guys, think about when your products are published across the internet on these trusted domains, you are driving external traffic like nobody's business. Not only you're not driving paid traffic, you're driving organic traffic. Customers, consumers who see your product being featured in a top 10 best list or an editorial recommendation, they immediately associate your brand with trust and with, you know, something that they could find on a big box retail shelf. And, you know, it elevates your brand to a level that you would never be able to achieve just running Facebook ads, right? Because you're everywhere now. And not only that, you're also going to rank your product on Amazon like nobody's business, because Amazon loves external traffic. They're like, oh, you mean you're going to send all this traffic to Amazon and we didn't have to pay for it? Let's move that listing on up the page. I think we need to give it a little bit more, you know, space on the page at a little higher, better placement, because that's obviously what customers are looking for from these external sites when they're coming on Amazon.com. So let's get back to it. We already know the benefits. We know the benefits of getting your products out there. And I think, you know, a lot of people are nervous about it. They don't know who to trust. They're not sure about all this. But let's talk a little bit about that process, the strategy behind it, and how you guys work with sellers. So first of all, what is it that, talk a little bit about your process. So a brand reaches out to you and what?
Yeah. So depending on what the brand needs, we can start with a product launch, or we can, you know, go with an established product that's eligible to be in those editorial recommendations. We can pitch them to the publishers that we work with. So if we're doing a product launch, we would start more with traditional PR, you know, going to these publishers and saying, hey, have content created that lives on your website, and then directs back to Amazon. So then they get all that external traffic, and then Amazon puts a heavy weight on the domain authority that it's coming from. So it really boosts the organic ranking of the product. And then we're already on a ramp then to get into the editorial recommendations. So our whole process, it's a SaaS-based offering. That's what makes us a little bit different about, you know, in comparison to other PR
those
firms.
People that don't know what SaaS is software as a service. So you're offering a software-based solution to a seller's problem.
Yes, and it's not just software-based how we match to the publishers, but it's software-based in we give a lot of data around this entire space. You wouldn't normally get the attribution data from one of the publishers that is representing your product, but we do provide the attribution data for both on-site editorials and off-site editorials. So you get to know exactly what effect this is having on your sales. It's measurable, and I mean, if you know what's going on, then you've got a map, at least you know where you're going.
So what you're telling for those people who just launched their first product and might not, you know, they're interested in this, but they might not know exactly what that means. What Kurt is saying is, look, let's say that we put you in a bunch of we put you on a bunch of really great websites, very trusted websites. We're talking about your product on those websites, and potentially even putting you in the Amazon editorial recommendations for some keywords on that you're trying to really show up on the page for us, right? So let's say we do both of those things. Well, each of those pages that you're publishing me on has a link. And we want to know that, okay, you're driving this traffic to Amazon, is the one that you got published on Good Housekeeping doing better, or how much is that doing compared to the one that we did maybe over here on this other channel, or compared to the one, the Amazon editorial that's on the page on Amazon? We can now track, you have a dashboard where we can look and we can track exactly which one is doing what. Where right now, I mean, for me, I just did this deal where I did something similar, right? And I had to kind of drop ship my products that were sold across this platform. And it was great. Like I said, my Amazon sales were amazing. And I'm still getting those backlinks. I'm still getting all, you know, those pages still exist on the internet. They still exist in search, and they're trusted searches. So it's really great. I'm still getting those benefits. But at the end of the day, all I have is this overall sales data. That's it. I can go in, I can log into my dashboard from this vendor, and I can look and see, okay, I made this many sales and this is how much they're paying me. But what you're offering that's a little different is you're going to allow us to have a dashboard that says, okay, here's all the places we published you, and you can go visit those links. That's fine. And here's the ones that led to sales, extra sales revenue for you. And that helps us as a brand move the needle a little bit more, because maybe the article on Good Housekeeping, or I don't know why I'm thinking of that this morning. I guess because we started with vacuum cleaners. So I'm just like, vacuum cleaners. Yeah, it's Good Housekeeping. But maybe the one that you published on, you know, this popular pets website, or, you know, a popular social media type, influencer type website, something like that, like BuzzFeed, things like that. Maybe one of those types of articles is doing 10 times better than something else. And when we see that, we can then go, oh, wow, the customer there is very responsive. And we as a brand can use that data to move us even further, to help you. And then you as the provider, as the service provider, what do you do when you see, oh, this channel is really good for that brand, or this one's, what do you do when you see that?
So if I know that there's something that is being sold, there's a season coming up, you know, new year, new me, or new year, new you, I guess. That one just, you know, it's going on right now. So I'm reaching out to brands that are selling products around health and fitness and saying, hey, it's time to get you on, you know, X publication site and drive traffic to your Amazon listing. It's going to raise your organic ranking. You're going to get more organic sales because of this. So, and then we're going to measure how many sales we're getting from this source. And we're also going to measure your organic ranking so that we can chart this and make a, you know, pretty graph to show people.
I know all you sellers out there who are selling booty bands, because I know there's at least 400 of you. Imagine what the difference is when those people who are searching for best fitness products, or, you know, that's what they do. They don't just go to Amazon and look for booty bands. They find out on some website that talks about, hey, use these 10 products to get back in shape for the new year. You know, use these 10 products to get your swimsuit body back. You know, if your product can be featured there, then the customer doesn't have to search. They just go, nope, that I trust this website over here, and they just recommended this product. I'm going to go and I'm going to buy it. And so that is so powerful. Yeah, I love that. And right now, all the fitness products are like sold out in terms of, you know, like I just ordered a bike, and Peloton, they're like 6 months backlog. So if you're selling any kind of fitness accessory right now, it's the time to jump on it, right?
Yeah. And so I don't sell anything personally yet on Amazon, but as a consumer, when I look up a product, like, hey, if I need a new bike and I'm looking for the best road bike, I'll type in best road bike. But then if I see one brand consistently mentioned in all the posts that I see, that's going to give me a better inclination. Like, that's probably a brand that's being talked about a lot. Everybody's talking about all these big names. You know, Good Housekeeping is talking about this bike, and, you know, it's on BuzzFeed, it's on, you know, Mashable, it's on all these different sites. Mm-hmm. So, and then if I know the brand and I'm searching that brand specifically, and then I see several articles from these publishers, that's another trust signal. Hey, I should definitely buy this. And they're all pointing back to the Amazon listing. We
Yes.
could point them to the direct to consumer webpage.
There's
There's
options
businesses that are
there.
migrating the other direction as well. So
Yes. Okay, well, that's
um,
good to know. So tell me, and I love what you said about the trust factor, because there's definitely with the sales cycle, we say a customer has to see your ad how many times before they trust it. But if they're seeing it everywhere, and they're doing their research, I'm really trying to find this bike, I'm really trying to find these booty bands, or I'm trying to do this or that, and they keep seeing the same brand, which is what you guys do. You don't just publish it on one page. You just like sprinkle it everywhere, so that when you do that web search, and that's exactly what happened when I did this. I was like, what is going on with my Amazon sales? I thought we were doing something with these guys, and I Googled my product and I was like, oh my God, it's everywhere. Like, wow, like the results were they were everywhere, and it was insane. So it's really, really impactful. So let's talk a little bit about how, so you said you bring them in, you kind of talk to them about what's going on, right? If what their product is a good fit for, and then everybody wants to know what it costs, right? Like that is that is kind of how it works. So you guys you have a flat fee up front to initially get everybody onboarded and get them get their products kind of brought in and everything. And then after that, after the initial flat fee, you're on a performance basis, right? So it's like you get a certain percentage of revenue that's attributed, because you're tracking, hey, we put you in on all these websites and everything. Here is the attribution data that you can look at yourself, and they're giving you a small percentage of their revenue based only on the attribution revenue. So it's kind of like Amazon PPC, where, okay, I paid for this click, and this click led, in your case, they're only paying for the clicks that lead to sales, right?
yeah,
They're not
just
picking
for sales.
Just for sales, which is nice. It's even better than Amazon PPC, because we're paying for clicks that don't lead to sales sometimes, and we spend thousands of dollars in a month, and sometimes we don't have a lot to show for it. Where this time it's like, okay, well, I'm paying you that flat fee up front to get moving, and you're going to publish all these articles about me, and if they don't work, well, I still have a ton of, well, they're not going to work. They're going to work, but it's like how well, like I'm sure for some products it works better than others, right? Depending on how much competition and all of that. But the bottom line is, after that, after you get them set up, and guys, just so you know, if you were to pay for articles to go across, you can pay for articles. I mean, I paid I think through Cision, I paid like $2,000 to have like 6 articles done. So you can pay for articles, but what you're not getting from that is the attribution data. You're not getting that hookup with Amazon editorials. You're not getting that. You're not closing the full circle, right? You're sending these articles out and you're like, okay, they're out there. But in this case, I mean, it's in your best interest, Seller Rocket, to make sure they do well, because that's how you make your money, right? So you're following up and you're trying to provide that really good data, and you're trying to hook up these brands with putting them in the right spot, because then you're like, hey, the better we do, the more information we provide to these publishers, and the better these products sell, we get a little piece of the pie too, which is so nice, right? Am I on point?
Yeah, all of that is on point. I would like to say that in talking with all of these brands, I don't know, since I just came from healthcare software, so like I said, this is sort of new to me. I'm getting the impression that there's marketing companies out there who take your money and run.
Oh yeah.
And okay,
That's
so
like what marketing companies do in general. Yeah.
yeah, we're not like that. That's so our initial fee, I, I guess it's upfront, but it's not until we're able to provide you with a live link to where we posted you. So it's only when we're successful at doing what we do you
Got
get
it.
an invoice. So it's very different than a lot of the other people. Are very surprised when they hear that.
And you guys are somewhat new in the industry, and you know, and you definitely vetted me too. Like I get a lot of software thrown at me. I get every day new Amazon software people reaching out to me, and it's like, I already have 20 different software programs and I can't possibly use all of them. So I try to focus my effort on the ones that are really, really good, and use those in my trainings, and you know, and but the thing is, like, you guys took the time to really vet me too and make sure that, you know, I'm the right fit for you, because you really want, to me, the impression that I got is that you want to be able to take care of the people that come your way, and you want to make sure that the service that you're providing is clearly communicated. And you know, you guys have more of kind of a hand holding or hands-on approach to this whole thing than other PR firms. As far as I know, you know, most of the PR firms that I've dealt with, you know, you give them your information and then they publish, and you know, you pay and they publish. And I'm not saying that you don't have good results from that. It's usually really good results. But the difference here that I like about Seller Rocket is we're getting that full circle. We're like, okay, we publish, but now, like, what's going on? And so, you know, now let's talk about, what if, okay, so I'm paying you guys a portion after we get all set up. I'm paying you a portion of those attributed sales. So kind of like PPC, except for only the stuff that leads to sales. I'm paying you a portion of that, but can I just cancel after that? If I'm like, you guys did too good, and now, you know, I want all of my profit back. How does that work? Is it like a cancel anytime kind of thing? Do you guys do like a 3-month retainer? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, you can leave at any time if you give us 30 days notice.
Okay.
Our relationships, though, go on. No, the rate of people that have left us is, I can count it on like half a hand. We retain our customers. You mentioned that there's like a hand holding with this, and I think this is ridiculous. We have about 400 clients right now, and somehow we're able to communicate with all of them, constantly. There's not a single day that goes by where I'm not responding to an email from somebody. I feel terrible if I make it to the end of the day and don't reply to somebody and say, hey, this is what's going on. I type the longest emails ever sometimes, just making sure that I explain this until their ears are bleeding.
We're going to teach you how to use Loom, Kurt.
I probably should.
Well, that is cool. You guys have offered a special offer for folks coming from Amazing at Home. So if you guys are wanting just to get in touch with Seller Rocket, if you're wanting to check them out and just learn more about how you can get your products into these publications and potentially Amazon editorials and all of that, and you're wanting to work with them, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can go to amazingathome.com/resources, and that has all of my trusted service providers, and you can click inside of, there's a little Seller Rocket icon there, and you can click inside of that. But what you're going to do, and inside of that, it gives you the instructions, but it's very easy. There's no affiliate link or anything like that. You're just going to email them at launch@sellerrocket.io with the email header, referral from Amazing at Home. And they're going to take good care of you, because if they don't, they know, they have Amy to deal with. No, I'm just kidding. So no, I appreciate you guys so much. I know there's a lot of people who've been interested in the editorial recommendations. I remember Christina Erdemskaya the other day, she was in the Helium 10 group, like, how do you get your products into there? And then like a couple weeks later, I got this email getting introduced to you guys, and I was like, hey, somebody was just asking about that. So, this is the answer to that. It's so good to have connections. And thank you, Kurt, you made it through with the mullet. You made it through your very first video podcast. I mean, it's glorious. We love it. So thank you for being here, and thank you for explaining a little bit more about Seller Rocket. And folks, as I mentioned, reach out anytime. launch@sellerrocket.io, and just put amazing at home referral inside of the little subject line, and they will hook you up. Or just head over to their website, check them out. And Kurt, is there anything that you want to say about how they should follow you guys? Like, how do they get your latest and greatest information?
We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're going to be on Facebook. We are on Facebook, but we're building up our social media right now. Just, reach out to us. That's the email's the best right now, but we'll be everywhere for tomorrow.
Cool. Well, thank you so much again for being here, and thanks everybody for tuning in. And I hope to see all of your products on all the places and just making all the sales. That's what I wish for all of you out there in internet land and Amazon seller land. And we'll talk to you guys next time on the Seller Roundtable on Tuesday. Remember to join us Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific, at sellerroundtable.com/live. That is where you can join us with our guests, ask questions, and hang out for what we call extra innings, where we answer your questions. And all right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.